branching out to different styles of beer for a while. This is Steal the Moon, a hazy pale ale from Bookstore Brewing in Winnipeg. They describe it as a hazy pale with wheat and oats flavors, citrus hops, and a smooth body. Very citrusy and sour, not too bitter like hoppy stuff. Cool. So today I'm taking a look at this motion sensor LED wall charger that I picked up at the Dollarama this week. I was interested to see, with all of these different things jammed into it, if it does any of them well or if it actually is a worthy unit. It's got USB-C plus and a USB-A charging port on it, and it claims to be able to provide 3.1 amps total, so I'm assuming that's between the two of them. And of course, it is a motion detector nightlight as well. No instructions or anything in the package, not that it really needs it. Little plastic clamshell. 125 volts AC, 60 hertz, 10 amp on the AC outlet. It just passes straight through. 1250 watts, USB, total 5 volts, 3.1 amps, so no power delivery happening. And it's held together by these 3 security screws. Are those security screws or are those Phillips? Oh, they just look like Phillips. Okay. That shouldn't be too hard to take apart. Let's just test this thing. Plug it into the power strip there. There's a little bit of light coming out of it. No, there isn't. No, there is. It's detected motion. You see that gentle glow around it? Okay. I don't know if there's a darkness sensor on this thing because it is pretty bright in here. Usually you expect the motion detecting nightlight to only come on in the dark, but I guess we'll find out when we open it. Meanwhile, let us test it out. Got a USB tester there. Got an electronic load there. Since I haven't finished modifying my own one, I will just use this. It's capable of more than enough current. It's just a little awkward in the interface. We might as well just go straight into the Type C. I'm going to assume the Type A works. So what do we got here? Definitely 5 volts. We'll start up the load with 1 amp. No trouble with that. Right. The load reset to 2 amps. No problem. It's not really sucking down the voltage. That's good. This thing claims to be good for 3 amps, so we'll see what 3 amps does. No problem with that, and it's not really pulling down the voltage either. Excellent. There's 3.1 amps, and yeah, it's capable of that. That's 3.2 amps. Yeah, that's working, and it's not dropping at all. Cool. We might actually have something that does what it says it does. How about 3.5? Okay, yeah, that dropped the voltage down enough to kill the thing. After tinkering with it a bit, it looks like 3.4 amps is the most that it can consistently do, which is pretty impressive for something that claims 3.1 amps. And we're like 0.05 volt below the 5 volts. So, yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's take it apart. As I mentioned, just 3 little Phillips screws on the back of there, so that's no problem to take out. I'm hoping there won't be any clips in there. I don't expect there to be, but you never know. This was something that I picked up at Dollarama, so who knows. Oh yeah, it just comes apart. Right. Not sure if I should be worried about this or not, but there's a little bit of staining on the inside of that. Wonder if it's refurbed or something. Anyway, there is the main event. So we have the motion detector there. It's a standard PIR on 3 legs. 2 of them have insulating sleeves. One of them is bare, just to save, a fraction of a penny. We have transformer, some capacitors, and Class Y capacitor over there, resistor, not much else on here. There is the contacts for the pass-through of the AC. It's just formed spring clip bits, and that looks like it just passes straight through. Matter of fact, that little hoop-de-doo there, I'm pretty sure is the same metal as that too. And then the other 2 have some really blobby, ugly little solder joints on there. Looks almost like a cold solder joint, but they melted the insulation a little bit when they were putting it in there. Not ideal. How do we get this out? Let's be gentle. No, that didn't work. Hang on just a bit and let me see if I can figure out some prying or something. That's, Do I have to desolder all of that to get it out? Really? It doesn't want to come up. And the edges are coming up, so there's nothing holding it there. Obviously the USBs are passed through there, but that's, oh, okay. Yeah, it looks like I broke off the little metal tabs, or more likely just broke the solder joints, because I can see there was a little bit of solder on there and a little bit of solder on there alongside those big ugly blobs. Regardless, that allows us to see what's on the backside, and there are a few things here. Around the edge, we have a bunch of LEDs which are mounted upside down and poking through holes on the board to light up the nightlight function. Over here we have a bridge rectifier, no surprise there. And then we have 3 other chips, a couple of transistory or 3 terminal devices. Q1 over there is a transistor, and it's probably switching the LEDs on. There's a big gap in the copper there, which is underneath the transformer. These guys are on either side of the transformer. Okay. And then this chip is up close to the USB, so I'm going to assume that that has to do with the USB section. And there are lots and lots of slots in this board to separate high voltage from low voltage. For instance, there is the incoming high voltage AC. There is a slot protecting the USB side from it. So this is still on the high voltage side, and it's got a slot keeping it separated from the LEDs. That's nice to see. And again, that's a high voltage track with the LED protected by that slot. Looks like they've done some fairly good things in this design. When they manufactured it, they didn't do a very good job of cleaning the board, unless, like I suggested earlier, this might be a refurb or something. I don't know about that, because there is a lot of grime on the board for a commercial product. Normally you would expect it to be cleaner. Let's just poke around on this board a little bit and follow the magic footsteps. Yes, it's powered on. Please don't do this at home. Let me just demonstrate to you. There we go, 123 volts. So we'll just set that back there and be very careful. So we have the AC mains coming in. We go through that resistor we saw on the other side, which is marked as FR1, fusible resistor, through the bridge rectifier, giving us about 170 volts DC. 2 capacitors, one there and one there. No, I'm not going to pick, well, that's these 2 here. And then that carries on over to this chip, whose number comes up blank when I try and look for it. But that is connected to the primary side of the transformer. That transformer there. The secondary side of the transformer, it goes to this chip over here, again with 4 pins tied together. Big gap in the copper, nice to see. And then out of that guy we have 5 volts. So that is a regulator, right. So there is the power supply section generating 5 volts at presumably whatever amperage we need. And then those high current tracks come over here and go to that guy. This guy in here, I believe, is a 3 volt regulator. And then we go over to this chip, which is completely unmarked, but that is on the back side of the PIR sensor here. And I don't think that PIR sensor has a built-in photocell in it. because it's super bright in here, and every time I turn this thing over, it turns itself on. But from that photocell, whose pins are there, there, and there, there's a trace through this resistor over here, over to this little transistor here, which is a Y1 standard NPN transistor. And that connects to all these LEDs around here in parallel, which causes those LEDs to come on when the motion detector detects motion, day or night. Fairly straightforward little guy. And again, I recommend that you do not do something janky like that. I'm just doing it for illustration, so you don't have to. Other than a couple of build quality issues on this thing, like cleaning, some of these pins are ridiculously long. They should have been trimmed off, and the solder blobbing on there being really weak and easy for me to break when I whacked on it. I think it's a pretty reasonable device. It actually does what it says on the tin. And there is that little PIR sensor under there. Not much to talk about there, just a standard PIR sensor, but beside it, it does have a footprint that looks like it would be taking light in, so that's probably the light sensor if they had chosen to fit it, which of course they haven't. Lots of good big slots on here to prevent high voltage and low voltage from talking to each other. Nice to see some good big pads and heavier traces for the current handling. All in all, a reasonable little design, I would think. Especially for the whole $5 that I paid for it at my local Dollarama. I think I'm going to try and put it back together, although I'm pretty confident that I'm going to melt this even more than they did when I try and blob that back in there. Oh, I just noticed. There's more bits of dust and flotsam in there. So maybe these are factory seconds. I don't know. Maybe I'll look it up on their website and just see what they have to say about this there. See how much it would really cost if it wasn't at a Dollarama. Now here is Extreme Digital Lifestyle Accessories. I don't see it among the things that they're offering. And searching for the product number that's on the box comes up blank. Also, just a general purpose search comes up completely blank. So maybe this is a product that they no longer sell or no longer support. Or maybe, judging by the suffix on the part number, maybe this is something that was custom made just for Dollarama stores in Canada. Possibly. What do you think? Suggestions in the comments. Anyway, let's see if we can put this thing back together and have it actually work. I'm not super confident that I can blob that back on there, but you never know. I think I might have actually got that. It's absolutely no prettier than what they did from the factory. Maybe I shouldn't be quite so hard on them, but I think I got it. That one works. That one works. Okay. Throw the cover back on, and that just drops on, wow, very easily. Okay. Some screws, plug it in, and see if it survived. There's my third screw. There it is. We'll power this guy on. Motion detect. Hey, it lights up. Like you can see there. It provides 5 volts. And it actually, yeah, it does the job. Wow. Cool. I didn't break it. I'm impressed. A little surprised. Do I want to use this thing? Maybe. I'm not scared of it. It's a little weird that it doesn't have a photocell in with its nightlight mode, but I can live with that. I think that's not a bad thing to kick around here. And I think it is actually safe enough in its design. The only really weird thing is how that was attached in there. But I don't know if it was good enough to pass. What certifications? Yeah, if it was good enough to pass those certifications, then I think my soldering is at least as good as theirs. So there that is for what it is. Thanks for watching. Questions or comments down below as usual. I will talk to you later.